Climbing is a sport that very little is known about, but all curious eyes will be on the event in Tokyo this year as it makes its much anticipated first ever appearance, with 20 of the best men and women challenging for the top prize. One particular athlete to keep an eye on is African champion, 17-year-old Erin Sterkenburg, who is still pinching herself after securing passage to the global sporting showpiece.
I'm so excited to be going to the Olympics. I'm obviously a little bit nervous too. It still kind of feels a bit surreal that I'm going. It hasn't really sunk in. I don't know if it will until I'm there. But yeah, I'm really excited and kind of honored that I get the chance to be there, especially because it's climbing's debut at the Olympics.
The high school senior began climbing just a few years ago and immediately fell in love with the sport.
It's always different. It's always a new challenge. It's never the same thing. So like running or swimming, you're kind of doing the same thing over and over, but climbing, the route setters put the holds in a certain way. So it's always like a challenge and mentally figuring out what to do. So I think that's really exciting.
Climbing will comprise of 3 events in Tokyo and, as the multiple South African champion explains, makes for a fascinating event with one clear objective: get to the top and don't fall off.
So the 3 disciplines. So speed is whoever gets to the top in the fastest time. That's a set route that doesn't change. So around the world, the speed route is always exactly the same. Then boulder, pretty much what's behind us, the route setters will set 3 different boulders, and whoever does all of them in the least attempts wins. And then lead, it's just one really high route which you climb with the ropes, and that's whoever gets the highest wins that one. So yeah, those are the 3 disciplines. And then how I would describe it, it's pretty much trying to get to the top. That's generally the aim.
The South African climbing star hopes that more people will take up the sport that very little is known about when the newly introduced climbing event is beamed on television screens across the world to millions of viewers. And although it's daunting scaling a wall that is several meters high, the talented Sterkenburg believes anything is possible when you put your mind to it.
Climbing isn't something like easy when you start. Not many people have like crazy upper body strength or anything. So when I started, I could barely stay on the wall. So perseverance is definitely a big part of it. And then also just being open to, there's always going to be something you can't do. There's always going to be a climb that is going to be hard, but that's the fun part, I think.
Balancing school and preparing for the Olympics is indeed a challenge for Africa's sport climbing representative, who has spent time in the US to fine-tune her preparations. But she is eager to make the best of her debut and showcase her climbing skills as she scales the biggest test of her young and exciting career. Sias, Plessis, CGTN, Johannesburg, South Africa.